In the vast, remote corners of our planet, there exist giants of rock and ice that have never known the tread of a human foot. Many of the world's tallest virgin peaks lie deep in the sprawling ranges of the Himalayas and the Karakoram, their silent summits piercing the thin, cold air. These are places of profound mystery and solitude, standing as the last great untouched frontiers in an ever-shrinking world. Some are held sacred, deemed too holy to be scaled, their slopes protected by ancient beliefs and spiritual reverence. Others are barricaded by the invisible, yet impenetrable lines of disputed territories, or simply lie so far from civilization that the journey to their base is an expedition in itself. What they all share is a strange, profound silence. A silence born from solitude. A summit no human has ever touched. A view no human eye has ever witnessed from its highest point. For mountaineers, they represent the ultimate challenge, the last great problems. For the rest of us, they are symbols of a world that still holds secrets, places that remain wild and untamed. They challenge our modern belief that everything is knowable, everything is reachable. These are not just mountains, they are sanctuaries of the unknown, monuments to what lies beyond our grasp. Stay with me. The reasons why no one has climbed these peaks might surprise you. They are stories not just of rock and ice, but of faith, politics, and the enduring power of the natural world. Let's begin our journey with a mountain that doesn't just remain unclimbed, it's untouchable by design. Our journey begins not with a mountain forbidden by technical challenge, but by divine decree. This is Mount Kailash, rising from the Tibetan plateau. At 6,638 meters, it is by no means the tallest peak we shall visit, but its significance is immeasurable. For four major religions, Hinduism, Buddhism, Jainism, and the Bon faith, this is not merely a mountain. It is the center of the universe, the axis mundi, the earthly manifestation of the mythical Mount Meru. It is a place of pilgrimage, a source of life-giving rivers, and the abode of gods. To climb Kailash, for many, would be a profound act of sacrilege. It would be like walking on the roof of a cathedral or storming the gates of heaven itself. Hindus believe it is the home of Lord Shiva, a place of eternal bliss. For Buddhists, it is the dwelling of the Buddha Demchok, who represents supreme harmony. Millions of pilgrims travel here, not to conquer its summit, but to circumambulate its base, a grueling trek of 52 kilometers known as the Kora. This act, they believe, cleanses the sins of a lifetime. The mountain is a sanctuary, not an objective. The reverence for Kailash is so deeply ingrained that it has transcended faith and entered the realm of international understanding. While technically feasible to climb, no serious attempts have been made in modern times. In the 1980s, the renowned mountaineer Reinhold Messner was offered a permit by the Chinese government to make the first ascent. He wisely declined, stating that to conquer the peak would be to conquer something in people's souls. It was a recognition that some places hold a value far greater than the glory of a first ascent. The Chinese authorities, acknowledging the peak's profound spiritual importance, have since officially banned all climbing activities on Kailash. It remains a powerful symbol of a different kind of human achievement, the wisdom of restraint. The mountain stands apart, its pyramidal, snow-dusted form a beacon of faith. Its slopes are not scarred by ropes and crampons, but are instead wrapped in layers of myth, prayer, and devotion that have accumulated over millennia. And so, Kailash remains pristine, its summit a mystery guarded not by icefalls or sheer cliffs, but by the collective will of humanity. It teaches us that the greatest heights are sometimes those we choose not to scale. It is a testament to the idea that some wonders of the natural world are best appreciated from afar, their sanctity preserved, their silence unbroken by the ambition of humankind. It is, and will likely forever remain, utterly and beautifully untouchable. We travel now to the heart of the Annapurna sanctuary in Nepal, to a mountain of breathtaking beauty and iconic form. This is Muchu Chhish, which translates to fishtail. Its twin summits, when viewed from the west, form a perfect V-shape, resembling the tail of a fish diving into the earth. At just under 7,000 meters, it dominates the skyline, a sharp, crystalline spire that captivates all who see it. But like Kailash, its summit is a place forbidden to humans, though for reasons that are a blend of reverence and a very modern story. Muchu Chhish is considered sacred by the local Gurung people. They believe it to be the home of the deity Durali, a protector of the region. Its slopes were considered inviolable, a divine sanctuary that should remain undisturbed. However, in the golden age of Himalayan exploration, the allure of such a magnificent, unclimbed peak proved irresistible. In 1957, a British expedition led by the legendary climber Wilfred Noyce was granted a rare permit to attempt an ascent. The permission came with a unique and binding condition. The King of Nepal, Mahendra, stipulated that the team must not, under any circumstances, set foot on the actual summit. They could climb as high as they wished, but the final few meters were to be left untouched, to respect the mountain's sacred status. The expedition battled treacherous conditions, pioneering a route up the formidable North Ridge. They established their final camp high on the mountain, within striking distance of the top. The weather, however, had other plans. As climbers David Cox and Wilfred Noyce pushed for the summit, they were engulfed by a blizzard. They climbed to within 150 meters of the top, a point where they could see the final, fluted ice ridge leading to the peak. Honoring their promise and overwhelmed by the storm, they turned back. It was a remarkable display of both mountaineering skill and ethical integrity. They had come tantalizingly close, but the fishtail's sanctity remained intact. No one has been that close since. Following this near ascent, and in recognition of the peak's enduring spiritual importance, the Nepalese government declared Muchu Chhish permanently off-limits to all climbing. It is now a protected, sacred peak. Today, trekkers on the popular Annapurna Base Camp Trail gaze up at its majestic form in wonder. It serves as a stunning backdrop, a silent guardian of the sanctuary. Its story is a poignant reminder of a time when exploration was tempered by respect, a pact between humanity and the divine that has left one of the world's most beautiful mountains in a state of perfect, perpetual solitude. We now venture into one of the most isolated and least explored regions of the entire Himalayan range. Here, far from any established route or human settlement, lies a true enigma, the mountain known as Sanglung, rising to an estimated 7,020 meters. It is one of the highest remaining virgin peaks on Earth. Yet, it is a ghost. It exists more as data than as a physical destination, a shape on a satellite image, a name on a cartographer's list. Its story is one of profound, almost absolute, remoteness. Sanglung is located in a desolate corner of the Tibetan Himalaya, a region so difficult to access that it has repelled almost all human curiosity. There are no records of any attempts to climb it, no photographs taken from its base, no tales from local villagers, because there are no local villages. Its existence is confirmed primarily through modern technology, high-resolution satellite imagery, and topographical surveys that map the world from space. From this vantage point, we can see its formidable ridges and glaciated faces, but it remains a two-dimensional phantom. The challenges of even reaching Sanglung are monumental. An expedition would require navigating a labyrinth of unmapped valleys and crossing treacherous, high-altitude passes, all within a politically sensitive region where permits are next to impossible to obtain. The logistical effort would be immense, a journey back in time to an era of pure exploration, where the first challenge is simply finding the mountain itself. It is a world away from the well-trodden paths that lead to the base camps of more famous peaks. This extreme isolation has created a vacuum of knowledge. We know its height and coordinates, but little else. What are its weather patterns? What is the nature of its rock and ice? What dangers lie hidden on its slopes? These are questions with no answers. Sanglung is a blank canvas, a true terra incognita in the 21st century. It represents a category of unclimbed peaks that are untouched not because of laws or beliefs, but because of the sheer, overwhelming power of geography. Its silence is perhaps the most absolute of all. It is the silence of a place that has never heard a human voice on its upper slopes, never felt the bite of a crampon in its ice. Sanglung stands as a powerful symbol of how vast and wild our planet can still be. In an age where every corner of the globe seems to have been documented and shared, this mountain reminds us that there are still places that guard their secrets fiercely, waiting, perhaps indefinitely, in splendid, magnificent isolation, known only to the satellites that silently pass overhead. Our journey now takes us to a frontier shrouded in both mist and political tension. Here, on the disputed border between Bhutan and China, rises the colossal massif of Tongshan. Reaching over 7,200 meters, this formidable peak is part of the Lunana region, one of the most remote and challenging areas in Bhutan. But, the primary obstacle to its ascent is not the mountain itself, but the invisible line drawn across its slopes, a border that neither side fully agrees upon. It is a phantom of geopolitics. The mountain and its subsidiary peaks lie in a gray zone. Bhutan, which considers the peak to be within its territory, has a strict and overarching ban on mountaineering above 6,000 meters, a policy enacted to preserve the sanctity of its sacred peaks and the fragile alpine environment. For the Bhutanese, these mountains are the homes of deities and protective spirits, and to disturb them would be to invite misfortune. The government's policy is one of profound respect for this traditional belief system. On the other side of the disputed line, China also lays claim to the mountain. While China has a more permissive attitude towards mountaineering in other parts of Tibet, access to sensitive border regions is heavily restricted. The ongoing territorial dispute with Bhutan means that obtaining a permit from the Chinese side is, for all practical purposes, impossible. The mountain is caught in a political stalemate, a silent, icy casualty of a disagreement between nations. It is a fortress guarded by bureaucracy. As a result, Tongshanjiabu remains a ghost mountain rarely seen and almost never visited. There are no official records of any climbing attempts from either side. Information about the peak is scarce, limited to distant photographs and survey data. Its ridges and faces are a mystery. Its potential routes unstudied. It is one of the world's highest unclimbed mountains, yet it holds almost no place in the annals of mountaineering literature. It is a giant hidden in plain sight, its presence noted on maps, but absent from expedition logs. This mountain represents a unique form of untouchability. It is not protected by a single nation's faith, but by the friction between two powers. It is a no-man's land, a vertical wilderness locked away by the complexities of human politics. And so, Tongshanjiabu waits, its summit untouched, its slopes silent, a colossal monument on a contested frontier. It stands as a powerful reminder that even in the highest places on Earth, the divisions we create on our maps can be as formidable as any cliff of rock or ice. We turn now to a peak that, for decades, was whispered about in mountaineering circles with a mixture of awe and trepidation. This is Karjiang, a complex massif in a remote part of Tibet, specifically its southern summit. Karjiang South, standing at 7,221 meters, was long considered one of the last great unclimbed challenges in the Himalayas. Its story is one of extreme technical difficulty and the relentless patient ambition of modern alpinism. For years, it was a fortress of ice that repelled all comers. The Karjiang Massif is notorious for its atrocious weather and immense, unstable seracs, towering cliffs of glacial ice that can collapse without warning. The approaches are long and arduous, and the climbing itself is exceptionally technical and dangerous. The South Peak, in particular, presents a horrifyingly complex puzzle. Its ridges are sharp like knives, and its faces are constantly swept by avalanches. It is a mountain that seems actively hostile to human presence, a place of objective, ever-present danger. Several highly skilled expeditions attempted to solve the problem of Karjiang. In 2001, a Dutch team made a valiant effort, but was forced to retreat from a lower peak, Karjiang III, due to the extreme risks. They reported terrifying conditions, with unstable snow, and the constant threat of avalanches making progress a deadly gamble. Another attempt by a Slovenian team also ended in failure, the climbers thwarted by the sheer difficulty and danger. The mountain gained a reputation as being perhaps unclimbable, a challenge too great even for the best. For over 2 decades, Karjiang South remained a virgin summit, a testament to the limits of human endurance and skill. It stood as a symbol of the ultimate prize for a new generation of climbers seeking not just height, but supreme technical difficulty on a grand scale. The mountain was a silent challenge, its unclimbed status a glaring omission in the records of high-altitude mountaineering. It was a peak that demanded a perfect combination of skill, luck, and weather. Then, in the autumn of 2024, the silence was broken. A Chinese expedition, after meticulous planning and benefiting from a rare window of good weather, reportedly reached the summit of Karjiang South. The ascent marked the end of an era, the fall of one of the last great giants. Yet, its long history as an unclimbed peak is a powerful story in itself, a tale of how a mountain, through its sheer ferocity and complexity, could hold humanity at bay for so long, demanding the utmost respect and pushing the boundaries of what is possible. We now arrive at the undisputed king of all unclimbed mountains. This is Gangkhar Puensum, located in the Kingdom of Bhutan. With an elevation of 7,570 meters, it holds the unique and likely permanent title of the highest unclimbed mountain in the world. Its name translates beautifully to the white peak of the three spiritual brothers, hinting at the profound reverence in which it is held. Its story is the ultimate intersection of geography, spirituality, and national policy. For centuries, Gangkhar Puensum and the other great peaks of Bhutan have been considered the sacred abodes of gods and spirits. They are not seen as inert masses of rock and ice, but as living entities, sources of power and protectors of the land. The local communities living in the shadow of these giants have a deep spiritual connection to them. Climbing them would be an act of profound disrespect, a desecration of a holy place that could anger the deities and bring misfortune upon the kingdom. In the 1980s, Bhutan briefly opened its peaks to mountaineering, and 4 separate expeditions were given permission to attempt Gangkhar Puensum. All of them failed. They were thwarted by a combination of inaccurate maps, ferocious weather, and the sheer difficulty of the mountain itself. The expeditions found themselves lost in labyrinthine valleys and confronted by impassable ice falls. It seemed as if the mountain itself was actively resisting them, its spiritual guardians turning away all who would try to violate its summit. These failed attempts, combined with a growing respect for local beliefs, led to a momentous decision. In 1994, the government of Bhutan banned all climbing of peaks higher than 6,000 meters. This policy was reaffirmed and strengthened in 2003, closing the mountains to mountaineering for good. It was a landmark act of conservation, not just of the environment, but of culture and faith. Bhutan chose to prioritize its spiritual heritage over the potential revenue from climbing expeditions. And so, Gangkhar Puensum remains a perfect enigma. It is the highest point on Earth that has never been touched by man. Its summit exists only in satellite photographs and the imaginations of those who gaze upon it from afar. It is a symbol of a nation's commitment to its values, a statement that some things are more important than conquest. The white peak of the three spiritual brothers will likely keep its secrets forever, a silent, majestic monument to the power of faith and the wisdom of letting some wonders remain wild. Leaving the spiritual sanctuaries of the Himalayas, our journey takes us west, into the jagged, formidable heart of the Karakoram Range in Pakistan. Here stands Muchu Chhish, a peak that, at 7,453 meters, is the highest unclimbed mountain on Earth that is not off limits due to religious or political prohibitions. Its challenge is not one of faith or borders, but of pure, unadulterated mountaineering difficulty. It is a giant that has so far proven simply too hard to climb. Muchu Chhish is not a standalone peak but a subsidiary summit of the Batura Mustag Massif. It is hidden away, accessible only via the long and treacherous Batura Glacier. The mountain itself is a complex and dangerous proposition. Its slopes are incredibly steep, prone to avalanches, and guarded by a labyrinth of crevasses and seracs. The final summit ridge is a long, exposed knife edge of snow and ice, a place where a single misstep would be fatal. It is a mountain that demands absolute mastery of high-altitude climbing. Over the years, several strong, highly skilled expeditions have set their sights on this elusive prize. They have come from all over the world, drawn by the allure of a true first ascent on one of the world's highest remaining challenges. Each attempt has pushed the boundaries of exploration on the mountain, forging new routes and gathering crucial information. Yet, one by one, they have all been turned back. They have been defeated by impossible snow conditions, the constant threat of avalanches, or simply the sheer, sustained difficulty of the climb. In 2020 and 2021, Czech expeditions made bold attempts, reaching higher than anyone before them. They navigated the treacherous icefall and pushed deep into the mountain's upper reaches, only to be stopped short of the summit by impassable conditions and extreme exhaustion. Their efforts highlighted just how formidable Muchu Chhish is. It is not a mountain that can be climbed by force. It requires a perfect alignment of skill, strategy, favorable weather, and a measure of luck that has yet to materialize. Muchu Chhish therefore represents the cutting edge of modern alpinism. It is a pure mountaineering problem, a question posed in the language of rock, snow, and ice. Its unclimbed status is a testament to the fact that even with modern technology and techniques, there are still natural fortresses on this planet that can withstand our best efforts. It stands as a silent, powerful challenge to the world's most ambitious climbers, waiting for the day when someone finally unlocks the secret to its summit. We return once more to the vast, high-altitude desert of the Tibetan Plateau, to a mountain range that is both remote and relatively unknown in the wider world. This is the Labuche Kang group, and our focus is on its eastern summit, Labuche Kang 3. Rising to an impressive 7,250 meters, it is one of the highest and most prominent unclimbed peaks in the region. Its story is a classic tale of Himalayan remoteness, where the challenges of logistics and access are as great as the climb itself. The Labuche Kang Massif lies in a secluded part of Tibet, far from any major infrastructure. Simply reaching the base of the mountain is a major expedition, requiring a long overland journey across the rugged Tibetan landscape. The region's high altitude and harsh, unpredictable weather add another layer of difficulty before a single rope is even unpacked. This isolation has kept the mountain off the radar of all but the most dedicated peak baggers and explorers of the world's forgotten corners. While the main summit of Labuche Kang was climbed in 1987 by a Sino-Japanese expedition, the eastern peak has remained elusive. An attempt was made in 1995 by the renowned American climbers Conrad Anker and Alex Lowe. They were part of an expedition that aimed to traverse the entire massif. Tragically, their attempt ended in disaster when they were caught in a massive avalanche. The incident was a stark reminder of the objective dangers present on these remote giants, and it cast a long shadow over the mountain. Since that time, there have been no other recorded attempts on Labuche Kang 3. The combination of its remote location, the logistical hurdles of mounting an expedition in Tibet, and the mountain's inherent dangers have been enough to deter further interest. It exists in a state of quiet solitude, its steep, glaciated faces, and corniced ridges unscarred by human passage. It is a challenge waiting for a new generation of climbers willing to embrace the immense undertaking of an expedition to this lonely part of the world. Labuche Kang 3 is a prime example of how a mountain can remain a virgin peak simply by being out of the way. It lacks the fame of an 8,000-meter peak and the absolute prohibition of a sacred mountain, but its geographical isolation and the sheer scale of the undertaking required to attempt it have provided it with a powerful natural defense. It stands as a silent sentinel on the Tibetan plateau, a challenge defined not just by its slopes, but by the long and difficult road one must travel to reach them. Our final destination is in the eastern Karakoram, in the Ladakh region of India. This is a land of high, arid mountains, a place of stark beauty and significant political sensitivity. Here we find the peak of Sasir Kangri 2 East. At 7,518 meters, it was, for a long time, the second highest unclimbed mountain in the world after Gangkhar Puensum. Its story is one of political restriction, extreme difficulty, and ultimately, a triumphant landmark ascent. The Sasir Kangri Massif lies in a region close to India's disputed borders with Pakistan and China. For decades, this strategic sensitivity meant the area was largely closed to foreigners, and even Indian expeditions required special military permits that were difficult to obtain. The mountain was locked away, a hidden fortress guarded by political boundaries and military regulations. This isolation meant that for a long time, very little was known about the peak or the potential routes to its summit. When access did become slightly easier, the mountain revealed its true nature. Sasir Kangri 2 East is a formidable peak. Its approaches are long and complex, involving travel over heavily crevassed glaciers. The climbing routes are steep, technically demanding, and exposed to the full force of the Karakoram's brutal weather. It presented a dual challenge. First, the bureaucratic struggle to get to the mountain, and second, the immense physical and mental struggle to climb it. For years, it remained one of the most coveted prizes in high-altitude mountaineering. Several expeditions surveyed the peak, but the combination of access issues and the sheer scale of the climb proved daunting. The mountain waited, a silent giant in a restricted corner of the world, its summit seen by few and touched by none. It represented one of the last great firsts, a challenge that required not just skill and bravery, but also immense patience and diplomatic effort. Then, in 2011, the fortress was finally breached. An Indo-American team, led by the climber Mark Riddy, succeeded in making the first ascent. Their climb was a masterpiece of modern alpinism, tackling a difficult rock buttress and steep ice fields in excellent style. The ascent was celebrated as a major achievement, the closing of a significant chapter in mountaineering history. The story of Saser Kongri 2 East is a perfect example of how political, geographical, and technical challenges can conspire to keep a summit pristine for decades, making its eventual ascent a truly historic moment. Our journey through these silent realms comes to an end, but the mountains themselves remain. They stand as they have for millennia, their summits wrapped in cloud and mystery. From the sacred spires of Kailash and Machapuchare, protected by the devotion of millions, to the political phantoms of Tong Shanji Abu and the remote ghosts like Sanglung, each peak tells a unique story. They are tales of faith, of human conflict, and of the raw, untamable power of the natural world. They are the last truly wild places. Some, like Karjiang South and Saser Kongri 2 East, have recently yielded their secrets to human tenacity, their stories shifting from unclimbed to conquered. Others, like Gangkhar Puensum, will likely remain untouched forever, preserved by a nation's wisdom. And still others, like Muchu Chhish, continue to pose a pure physical challenge, a problem of rock and ice waiting for the perfect combination of skill, courage, and luck. They are a powerful and humbling presence on our planet. These peaks remain silent, untouched, and mysterious. Whether due to spiritual reverence, political boundaries, or sheer remoteness, they remind us that some places on Earth are still beyond our reach. They teach us that there is value not just in conquest, but in restraint, not just in knowing, but in wondering. Which of these mountains would you want to see with your own eyes? Let us know in the comments.